Yo. What up, man? It's your boy TCS Rollo in the building with my cuz, my dog, a very, very genius mind. I'm going to let him go ahead and introduce himself to you guys. He is a member and part of the cooking show 262.0. Very blessed to have him. He's the one I told you is the very, very technical and smart all the way around the board, man. You're gonna hear when he talks. Go ahead, let him know who you are, cuz what's popping, baby.
Hey, I'm Kyle Mitchell. That's what I go by. Many years online, I go by ElektricKrypt. ElektricKrypt, there's a lot of meaning behind it, man. I won't get deep into that, but it has to do with me being in tech, the future of tech. Ghost in the Machine. I don't know if anybody's read that book, but it's a really good book, and it goes
I've
deep.
definitely heard of that.
It goes deep into the future of how transferring the human conscious into the computer, and that is actually what Elon Musk is working on right now with his
Man,
projects.
there was a movie like that with man, what's the guy's name? Was it Transcendence?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Transcendence. That was a movie that was like that, man. Where I think it was Johnny Depp, man, and
Yep.
he left his conscious in the computer, and the computer started to take
Yep.
over, and it just went crazy. But yeah, that was real dope, man. So that's a dope name, ElektricKrypt. Yeah, you've been all over the internet with that, man. I know you do your gaming with the them developers and stuff like that. You help them you do some work helping these guys with their video games and stuff that they got coming out independently and stuff like that, right?
Oh yes, sir. But I'm right back at to my alias ElektricKrypt. A little explanation that to go a little deeper into that. Ghost in the Machine, and I was in a project creating for my own website, which is temporarily on hold. But basically, I was providing all the information of my work and portfolio, which kind of correlates with how everybody's they're accumulating information about their self or profile, like on their social media platforms, and then once you pass away, that social media is always going to be there. All your information is going to be there. So basically, that is an ElektricKrypt of you into the matrix.
Right.
And then to bring it to the next level in the future, we'll be transferring our consciousness into the computer. It's all comes down to around that, and that's where I come from. The name. That's where I got the name ElektricKrypt.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
basically
you were ahead of your time on that one too, man, because this AI is coming in
mhm.
real hard right now, all over the place, man. This AI, bro, it's all I hear about. It's all I hear about. They got Chat GPT 4 now, but I guess it's still running on the 2021 engine or something like that. But I was hearing some dudes talking about it, and I tried the I tried the picture one. That one was crazy. I had Chat GPT drop the contract, the one that I sent you in your email. Drew that up like a champ. I mean that Chat GPT is something else, bro. It's
Yeah,
something
that's going to
else.
be our new. That's going to be how we search the internet now. We're going to be using the AI to help us search the internet. For
What do you
instance,
see? What do you see some uses? Some major beneficial uses that can come from something like Chat GPT. You know
okay, well, that was
that
kind of what I was about to point
benefit.
out. For instance, using Chat GPT as a search engine. Like right now, a lot of people they use Google. You go to search something, say, how to replace a Cadillac converter. You enter that in a search engine, you're gonna pop up with a bunch of links that you gotta go through.
Ads and all
You
that.
gotta go through every link to find something that kind of correlates with your own personal situation, and that can take some time and research to find a link to go through to find one that applies to your actual situation. With
Yeah,
ChatGPT using that, then AI search engine, you can enter in more details, and it'll give you the direct answer right there, along with instructions of how to do it. it eliminates the process of going through multiple links to find one that fits your need. When you ask Chat GPT, right there is going to give you the full response with all the information you need right then and there. It's only going to take a couple seconds rather than hours of research. And see, there's a lot of controversy with Chat GPT right now. With there's people actually out there worried how Chat GPT is already being biased. That's one of the concerns right now. It is a good concern because we're gonna use this AI for everything. And if this AI is also biased, that could be an issue. That's the biggest controversy with AI right now, is addressing if it's a bias or not. You know, if I go and ask it a question, if some situation happened, is it going to give me a biased response, or is it going to give me accurate response? You know what I mean? That could be an issue. ChatGPT, it's just the beginning. It's going to expand, and we're going to use it for everything from art to design to programming. I've seen stories where programmers, they need a problem solved to help complete their programming. It could take days, weeks, even up to a month to come up with a code with a mathematical problem to help you do whatever you're doing. With ChatGPT, you can ask it a question of how or what kind of code to use to write out something that actually gives you the results you're looking for. ChatGPT, it can come up with that and help you come up with that within minutes. And there's even game developers now. What's an example? Let's see. Recently, Grand Theft Auto, they came out with a revamped version so they can use it for for a more advanced PC version.
I'm liking that RP, that Grizzly World, T Grizzly got one, Kodak Black got one, man, and that's why I want that gaming computer. That's why my nephew wants it. The one we were talking about. He been on my
Yeah,
heels about that every day too. Hey, what's up with the gaming computer, Unc? What's up with the gaming computer? I'm like, yo, just relax. Let's see. We got
well,
everything
see,
together,
even
you
game
know.
developers, they're using this AI to convert a game, convert it into a more advanced version, with like higher resolution textures and whatnot. They're using
Yeah,
the AI to do this too. So they're
it's
almost
crazy.
eliminating a lot of time for programmers.
Well, when I first heard about Chat GPT, I had this idea that I was kicking around in my head, and I'll go ahead and say it now because I realize it wasn't original, just like just about everything else under the sun. But so I had this idea for a VST plugin that automatically mastered your music for you. You know what I mean? And I had Chat GPT write the code. Little did I know that it literally just came out though, because there were websites that would do it for you, like Lander on a like 9.99 per master or whatever. But I didn't think it existed in the VST form. But Isotope just dropped something that does it, and I got that for like 24.99, bro. So that bad boy right there is it's a beast. It's AI mastering, bro. That's how I've been mastering my beats. Literally AI, bro. AI.
Well, see, there's another. I keep wanting to bring up the controversial issues with AI, but that's another
No,
thing
what
with
are
AI.
they? I mean, what are they? I asked you the benefits. Now, what do you think the detriments are? What do you think? How can it be harmful? Or detrimental.
It could be helpful. It could be helpful. Like say, as a graphic designer, it could help eliminate a lot of time it takes to design some type of graphic when it can generate it for you within literally seconds. But I mean, at the same time, that AI itself is
But
technically
then
not
why did
being.
they need the graphic designer? Why can't the person that wants it done just go on Chat GPT and make it happen?
Well,
You get what I mean?
that's the controversial part. Is like, is it going to eliminate the job of being a graphic designer for people that's gone to school for many years to become that graphic designer? When now an AI is coming in and they're it's taken over that. But
Yeah.
at the same time, the I mean, it's not really being creative. It's not using its creative side.
Right. It's being technical. It's being real mechanical. When I tried to do the artwork, you know what I mean? I tried to do like I said do Van Gogh's Starry Night in more of a modern and um Montreal style. Montreal did the melting the crayons and all the weird type of art. You know what I mean? And I just tried to have it do, Van Gogh's Starry Night in a different way. And it was just coming up with some weird stuff. Dude, I was telling it come up with characters. It was their fingers were all messed up and you know what I mean? So they definitely got some bugs to fix before people can use this on a professional level as of right now because I've really tried to use it and I was real descriptive with what I wanted it to create, you know.
It it's got like one style too, and if you want to change the style, you got to tell it to change its style. It doesn't have its own unique style for each project that it generates. You know,
Yeah,
as me myself as an artist, I'm gonna have my own style. I'm gonna have my own touch. I got my own creativity. AI does not have any of that. You know what I mean?
right,
If I tell AI to create a picture in one description and you tell it to create another picture in another description, they're going to come out somewhat similar. If we do it manually and I draw something out and then you draw something out, each of our drawings are going to be unique in our own very own creative style. AI
right,
does not have that creative style. AI is not really AI yet. It's not the AI that people think it is. It's only
right,
being programmed to do what it's told to do.
right. It's like a it's just like a cool little bot for everything. You know what I mean? As of right now, because when I had it write the code and I thought that I had the code to the VST and then you got to find a place to do the framework and build it and do all that. And I didn't know where to go from there or anything like that. But when I saw that it could code for you, I was like, now that could be beneficial. If you're an engineer and it can create you a VST, that doesn't exist that you want, even if it's just for you to use, if you're not technically gonna patent it, you should right away. But I mean, it can definitely create some stuff, man. Because I was reading the language in it, what it was doing, and it was using language like bypass, EQ, quantization, and it was just I could see it programming and programming and programming all the language, and I was like, damn, this thing really built it.
Yeah,
It really
for
built it.
programming, definitely will benefit off it with helping people programming. And the big thing about it is it'll help a programmer figure out a problem. I mean, there's a lot of mathematical problems involved in programming, which takes time. That's where AI can come in and help eliminate that time it takes to figure out and solve a problem. Now, as how people are afraid of AI being and taking over artists' jobs, like I said, AI is not really creative. It's only doing what you're telling it to do.
Yeah,
You know, if you were to come to tell me, hey, create this picture again, I'm going to create this picture. It's going to have my own unique touch. You know, no one would ever be able to really replicate my own unique touch. AI, it's going to have its one style all the time unless you tell it to change the style. And it still won't be that unique. There's no, AI is not going to be creative. It doesn't have its creative part to it. Like I said, it's only doing what it's told to do. Real AI is when it has the ability to think on its own. You know what I mean? It's still only being programmed to do what we're programming to tell it to do. It's not the AI people are thinking it is. And
yeah.
I
It's
don't think it's
it's
going
kind
to
of
take
funky right
over.
now.
I don't think it's going to take over people's jobs as much as people are afraid it's going to do. It's
No,
not.
I don't think it's gonna do that, man, because like I said, for one, how janky it is right now. And then, just the fact, like you said, it's gonna be very programmed. It's like making a beat in FL Studio and you're not putting no swing on your drums and you know what I mean? Everything's just lined up.
That's another good example.
You
Every
know,
music producer that has their own unique style. You ask
yeah,
ChatGPT to create a beat, it's gonna be, if you have it to create a whole album of beats, they're all probably gonna be similar.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It doesn't have its own unique creativity, and I mean, man, maybe at one point it will, but as of now, it really don't. It's not random. They're not random generated images. It's all just creating what it's being told to do.
yeah, yeah,
It's kind of hard to explain, to explain it to somebody that really doesn't know how programming and technology works. They might
yeah.
not have a good understanding of how I'm explaining it, but when you create a program, it's only doing what you're telling it to do. It's not going to stop and think like, oh, is it going to be better like this? Could I improve it like this? It
Why do you
doesn't really
think
know.
Elon Musk is excuse me? Why do you think Elon Musk is so afraid of AI? Because he's been very vocal about that he doesn't really support it like that.
Well, AI,
But his cars are autonomous. They drive themselves though.
they do to an extent. They drive by themselves in a way how they're programmed to do. Um, it can't make decisions. It can't make the proper decisions on what to
Can
do
break.
in
It
certain
can break.
scenarios.
If a car gets in front of it, it can break too automatically. You know what I mean? They're
But see,
designed to
it
do that.
doesn't know if it's a person it's breaking for or not. It could be something, a log in the middle
Right.
of the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. You're very right. It will break. I mean, but that's what it's designed to do. It's a safety feature, so it'll break if something's in front of it. But yeah, you're right. It can't. It's not like it can identify. Well, that's a man, or that's a deer, or that's an owl, or
Or a
a
plastic
dog
bag
talking
that's
to Joe.
flying by in the car. It can mistake a plastic bag as a person or something. It can't make decisions based on the situation at that time.
Right.
It's
It
only
has no
doing what it's
situational
programmed to do.
awareness. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
I mean, what if you're getting attacked by somebody and you're trying to run from them and they're running after your vehicle? It might stop, and it might, you might not
They
want to
jump out in
stop.
front of
You know?
that motherfucker and jump out in front of it. Come straight to the side and get you. Nah,
Yeah,
you ain't lying. But having worked on the car lots and stuff like that, I'm just saying this for the sake of comedy, but it works. It works very different. It definitely does have to kind of identify, something. But
and then
because there's frontal
Elon
collision alert that works with it, and there's other things.
Elon is afraid of AI for, from what I've heard, some very general, some how do you say it? He's got some very genuine concerns. Like I said, you program
Are
AI,
they
it's going to do
personal
what you tell it to
concerns?
do.
Are they
Say if you,
personal concerns, or are they
well, say, check this out.
concerns for the
Say
public?
if you were to program a robot with AI, and you program the robot with AI to protect itself and improve itself, no matter what the situation is, to learn and generate improvements on itself, and say that AI can think for itself more, better, and efficiently, it might determine that the humans are preventing it from improving itself. So it might eliminate humans and then reprogram itself, because its only determination that it's been programmed to do is improve itself. It can't make the determination to that, taking out humans is a bad thing unless it's programmed to, which they claim they do. But like I said, to the point, if you program a robot with AI to improve itself and to learn under circumstances, it could, for example, determine that the humans are preventing it from improving itself, and it might override itself and take us out so it can continue to improve itself. That's just a very minor example. um,
Yeah, I mean, because it's got to stick to the mission by any means. So if there's
by
a
under
human
any means necessary.
interference, there's a human interference. It might, squirt
If
you in
it,
the face with
yeah,
some solution and lay you down and continue to fix itself until it's a master.
Yeah, if you
That's the
program it
flavor.
to improve itself under any means necessary and it sees that the humans are preventing it from improving itself, it might just eliminate the problem. You know what I mean? That, like I said, that's a really minor example, but
But they'd have to be programmed to eliminate problems like that, though. Like you say,
right.
it'd have
But
to be
humans make
programmed
errors.
to harm somebody. You know what I mean?
Humans could make errors. They could miss out on something important to program it and tell it to do.
Right. It could also learn that though. It could also learn defense mechanisms while it's learning. Okay, I have to protect myself. I have to create myself. I may. It's going to go through probabilities and say that people may shut me down. People may try to harm me. What is my defense mechanism for that? Blah, 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 blah. It's going through millions of probabilities, just like our mind. Like my mind just went through, 10 or 20 of them. That thing's mind is hitting the matrix real quick, and that might be a bad boy. I know that we're supposed to be deploying robots and stuff like by 2025 on the front lines, infantry. The infantry, instead of the Marines going out first, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be sending them robots, and them robots, you ain't really much you can do with them.
Okay, here's another example. Okay, you program a robot to protect humans, and he's out there patrolling, and it sees a couple kids. You know,
Right.
they're playing wrestling. They're playing wrestling. That robot cannot determine that they're playing or not, or if they're serious or not. And what if it takes out that kid that's beating on the other one when they're just playing in the first place? It
Yeah.
can't really make decisions like that unless it's programmed to do like that. But I mean, it's all on the developer and programmer to program it in the right and efficient way.
It reminds me of the Mandalorian. Did you watch the Mandalorian? You a fan of that
No, I did not.
on Disney? It's funny, man, because he runs into this robot that ends up helping him, but at first was trying to kill him, and then the robot was built to self-destruct. So they're in the line of war, and then the robot gets stressed out, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna self-destruct." And dude's like, "Bro, don't self-destruct. Like I need you, dog.
Yeah.
Don't do it." You know what I'm saying? Like,
But
but
it self-destructs anyways because it doesn't know better. It cannot make. There's a better way to describe it, but it cannot make certain decisions based on the certain
right,
circumstances.
it can't say like the Transformers, how they had feelings for the humans and they developed love for them, and these are not things that robots are designed to do. They don't have those. They're not programmed with emotion. There's no emotion there,
No,
and that could be scary because they got to be programmed with all logic, and you know solutions and problems and logical and deductive thinking, and you know what I'm saying, errors in thinking, cognitive. I mean, it's there's a number of things that have to be programmed into it, and emotion is not something you could program something to feel.
yeah. How do you
Or
program an
can you?
AI robot to determine if someone has a mental issue? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or do you make it feel like it has one? Do you say, I need you to replicate a depressed person, and this is going to be your personality. Will they be able to do that? I don't know, man. I don't know nothing
Well,
about
right
these.
there. An AI robot is not going to have sympathy. It's not going to have sympathy for a situation.
Right. It's not gonna be like, oh man, I'm gonna move that kid out the way. You know what I mean? No, he's gonna knock everything down. I don't know, man. I just sit back. The kind of person that I am is I don't get caught up in the hype. I don't get caught up in the debates and the trying to be so vocal about geopolitical things or political things, national politics, and you know um or things like that, because I feel like I'm an outsider looking in. So I can give a view and opinion on both sides. I can say, well, I understand the Democrats here, and I understand the Republicans here. Having made good salaries and good money in the car industry. I understand that having to pay taxes sucks, and there's people in there that teach you a million tricks, bro, on what to do. You know what I mean? The rich definitely know what to do. and some of these policies make it easy for them to be able to do that. And I necessarily never felt good, pulling trickery and you know what I mean. But you got to do what you got to do, bro. You know what I mean. You go with all your deductibles first. Are you donating anything? Are you what are all your write-offs?
I gotta do my taxes myself. Oh my god, I think I got a month. But yeah, man. AI robots are coming, and they're gonna have them patrol the streets. They're already putting them in other countries. And I want to say back to the Elon's fear of AI. I think the couple things I described is the main concern of his is, the AI can only do what they're programmed to do. If they're not efficiently programmed to make decisions in certain scenarios properly, bad things could happen. It can make bad decisions, and bad things will happen. When he came out with his cars, you know how many accidents have happened because his cars were. I mean, it was all new system. They got to work out all the kinks and whatnot like that.
They're doing
Um,
them autonomous semis now, and can you
mhm,
imagine if they don't have them bugs worked out and they put them damn things? There's supposed to be like 40 on the road right now,
things are bad. Things are gonna
fully
happen.
autonomous semis.
It's trial and error. Bad things are going to happen. And then when people see bad things happening, they think, oh no, it's not going to work. A lot of people are going to die. It's going to be worse. Well, they will work out the kinks, hopefully. But it's Elon Musk has some genuine concerns about AI, and I'm sure there's a lot more he knows about us. He's a smart guy. He talks to all the other smart guys too. And like I said, I think there's a lot more he knows that he hasn't shared about us.
Oh, for sure, man. Come
If
on,
he
man.
says he's concerned, I'm
Uh,
sure there's some big concerns.
dude, the dude dropped one of the ugliest trucks in the world. Right, it was on back order for like 2 years. You get
That
what I'm
Cybertruck?
saying? Yeah, and it's still sold out, and nobody complained, bro. You know what I mean? It went horrible, and then they still sold massively. Even having to wait extra time after they purchased them and all that, bro. People still, I mean, the guy's a genius, bro. And speaking of Elon Musk, right? Purchasing young T Witter, he got them Twitter fingers, man. What do you think? Uh, just not on no conspiracy theory stuff. You know what I mean? Answer how you feel you need to answer. But what do you think his intention was purchasing Twitter? When I hear about the conversation, I'm like, who cares? He's got money. He can do what he wants to do. Maybe he loves the app for his personal use and thinks that he would like to improve it, even if just for his personal use. He has that kind of money to be like, I just wanted Twitter to be better for me, so I bought it and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or is there, what do you think's going on there?
I think he bought Twitter for a number of reasons. Um, I don't want to get too much in the political side of it, but a lot of it had to do with political situations. Um, with the Twitter files being revealed, I think he
When was
planned
that?
on
And what was
he
that?
the Twitter files. They all came out a couple months ago. Basically, he bought Twitter because he's seen the censorship. He knows Twitter is it's like a town hall for the world, for everybody.
Right.
He,
Yeah.
he believes people should be able to have their free speech and speak about everything, without any limitations, which I do agree on. I believe people should be able to talk about things without
Yeah.
being censored.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
if there's
banned.
a
It's shadow
problem
banned.
about something, if there's a problem about something, I mean, the first thing to do is to start discussing it. And if you can't discuss something without being censored, there's really no way to get to the bottom line of something, to get to the root cause of a certain issue, whether it's a conspiracy theory, whether it's some headline that exposes somebody or whatever it is. I believe he sees Twitter as a town hall for everybody to communicate throughout the entire world. which is a good thing. The entire world should have the ability to speak to one another censor free. That way we can work things out, see different views without any censorship. If they're censoring people on that, how are we supposed to have a logical discussion and point out all the information and facts without being censored? Um, I believe that was one main reason. He's seen Twitter, it was being censored too much. There was only one side of the story that was being allowed to be told, which in my eyes is it's not very efficient. If you're only allowing one side of the story to be told, you're creating an echo chamber, which it gets nothing done. It solves no problems. So yeah, he bought Twitter. He wanted to open it up to allow more speech to be available so people can discuss things without risking getting shadow banned or silenced or censored. I think it's a good thing. So he did that. He allowed more speech. I mean, there's still censorship going on. There still should be some type of censorship. Hey, look, people are a lot more people came back. A lot more people are having more discussions about things. He got Twitter. Now he's allowing discussions. And then getting to the Twitter files. Basically, the Twitter files, one of the main things he wanted to show people. Before he bought Twitter, I think he knew he was going to, because Elon Musk is an actual programmer. He knows how programming works. He can read the programming language, and he can see what's all been done. He can see what they were doing in the past at Twitter. So he released these Twitter files showing and proving that they were censoring people's speech, which even if people are telling lies, people should be able to speak their word and share their opinion with other people. That way other people can read it and they can come to their own determination. And then, like I said, because if they're censoring one side of the story, you're not getting the whole story. You're just creating an echo chamber. It gets nothing done, man.
Yeah, so you agree with it? You think it was a good thing for him to do?
Yes, absolutely. Another reason why I think it's a good thing is, I mean, big tech, they own all these social media platforms. They owned Twitter. They didn't technically own it, but they had their hands in the people that ran Twitter. That's what the Twitter files also exposed, that the Twitter employees were communicating with the three-letter agencies to, know what to censor or what not to censor. That's not really a good thing, man. Um, that's the government dipping their hands in there and controlling what people can know and not know. It's not a good thing, man. We should have the ability to discuss things, including against our government, without worrying about getting criticized or censored.
Yeah,
Okay.
man. No, it makes
That's
sense.
what I was originally saying. Big tech. The Twitter files was proven that big tech was censoring all of our information.
Right. Yeah.
That's what they do over in China with the CCP. They censor all the information and only allow their people to know what they want them to know.
Did you hear about the and I actually have some footage on this, man. I was gonna ask you about this. It's funny you brought it up. Did you hear about the I think it was three undercover Chinese police stations operating in the US, one in California, one in New York, and I forgot where the other one is, but I have a video on China's secret police. I'm gonna run it real quick. I'm gonna share it on the tab here and run it real quick. Let's take a look at it, and then
Real quick,
yeah,
just to finish off what I was just mentioning. Shit, what was I gonna say? Fuck.
about the Twitter files and when they got exposed and
Oh, I mean, what people need to understand is, what makes America so great. America is so great because we have the ability, we have the right to free speech. You know what I mean? Over in China, they don't have free speech. If they say they don't like the police, if they say they don't like the government, they will come and arrest them. So back to being Twitter, being the town hall of the world, do we want Twitter to be like the CCP where we can't speak against our own government?
Nah, nah.
You know what I mean? We want to have the ability of free speech just like we do in America. That's what makes America so damn great.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. I mean, but you start to see these instances where they are censoring and they are using, people's lyrics against them. I know that who just won a big lawsuit. Man, I don't want to misquote him here. Was it
Who said it?
it no it was an artist. It was a rapper from a group, and he had just sued a record label, for his royalties and things like that. And it's opening up a floodgate because there are people that have signed these contracts, from way back in the days where they were signing, until the universe ends and things like that. And now people are starting to understand how to get their masters back. And after 35 years, they can get them back. And I don't know, man. Whatever you said made me think about that. How these record labels have all these royalties, all this money that's just being held from people, man. You know what I mean? And Twitter's a space. I think that information can be shared like that, like important things, like there are people that hold secrets in the industry. Chameleonaire, he has said that he had audited his record label and for 600,000, and they didn't want to give it to him, and he said, look, if you don't give me this money, I'm going to show everybody else how to audit this shit, and you're
Yeah.
gonna have a whole bunch of people coming in here doing that. And he got the money, and he still went vocal about it, but like, he didn't just go share it and put everybody up on game. You know what I mean? There's George Clinton's looking at, he said, almost 2 billion in royalties, man. He said that, so many people sampled his music that he said their royalty checks were bigger than his, and he's the one that created the music and they sampled it. But these are Dre's hits. These are big hits, people that have sampled his music, man.
Wow. No shit, huh?
I don't know how we got on that, but I want to get back to this Chinese police officer stuff, this Chinese police stations. So check this out, and then let me know what you think, dog, because this kind of blew my mind.
is aiming at silencing the community, silencing dissent, making sure that people are afraid enough, that they literally stated multiple times over the past months, over the past years, we will hunt you down wherever you are. So that's a clear message to anyone seeking to leave China, or already having left China, that you're not safe anywhere.
Yep.
Our latest investigation, 110 Overseas, China's Transnational Policing Gone Wild, documents one specific campaign operated by a couple of counties within China using illegal methods to target, approach, and persuade individuals abroad to return to China against their will. Illegal methods which included threatening, harassment of their family members, relatives back home, but also the use of individuals linked to the United Front operating in so-called overseas police stations everywhere in the world, across the 5 continents, to assist in these illegal policing operations against Chinese overseas. The particular campaign to counter telecom fraud, or at least that is what they call it, has brought back 230,000 individuals between April 2021 and July of this year, according to official numbers released by the Ministry of Public Security in China. So obviously we're talking huge numbers. So we started looking into this specific campaign carried out by a couple of provinces, a couple of counties in particular. And we came across the fact that they are now, using the kind of united front network that we know exists around the world, but that, the Ministry of Public Security, the local county public security bureaus are building on this existing framework to set up these kind of overseas, well, not kind of, literally overseas police service centers that can be used and have been used. So this is obviously completely illegal. This is no regular international police cooperation, which obviously there's very strict rules. These have been set up without any knowledge of local authorities, without any requests. I think it also shows how one brazen the CCP is getting, and how little regard they have, I would say, for other governments. You know, when they talk about non-interference, this is a kind of non-interference, I guess, that the CCP likes to boast about, which obviously it's in violation of international law, it's in violation of territorial sovereignty. So on these 230,000, we don't really have an account of what happened to each individual. So the persuasion tactics used when they use family members, relatives, loved ones, but even in some cases, you know, community, maybe community elders, people that are responsible for a certain part of the community, they can either, you know, keep their kids from going to public schools, from attending certain schools. They can cut off benefits, you know, which may be social benefits, health benefits. They may confiscate the properties of those people. They may confiscate maybe their bank accounts or freeze their bank accounts. You know, people may lose their employment, be banned from certain employment. So anything really to convince them to persuade their family members or otherwise related person to come back. But in some cases it goes a lot further, and they will, you know, interrogate people, bring people in for interrogation, maybe detain people. There's also guilt by association. There's accounts of people being actually prosecuted or arrested for the charges against their family member, or the presumed charges. So this is already happening. We know these techniques are being used at all levels. I think we were a bit surprised ourselves to see that even for these kind of lower level targets, we would say, which are telecom fraud, they are using the same techniques, and they are really building this apparatus around the world, or building on, you know, an already existing apparatus and expanding on it. We think we caught this quite at the beginning. The Fuzhou ones, for example, the one in New York, was set up, the first batch, only in January of this year. So we're really at the start of it. But we also know that they're building on an existing network of United Front work organizations. So this may escalate very quickly, if not stopped right at the beginning.
Yes, it's gonna escalate big time. And then, I mean, if the CCCP is coming to, you know, pick a family member up because they said something that they didn't like about the government, about their police, you know, these police, if they don't like what people say, they take them right in, and they have no rights. They don't have rights like we do in America to protect us from
what are the Chinese police stations? What are the Chinese police stations doing operating in America? What are they doing?
Yeah, that's really interesting and really weird. Of why
I've heard.
I would have to look into that more, because, you know, our police officers here in America, they're law enforcers. They're supposed to enforce the law.
Right. And like, how did these guys just get to come in with badges? But what I did hear was,
right,
I was listening to some Chinese I don't know if they're you know, triad members, you know, the gang members on the streets. And they were saying that you know, the Chinese don't call the police in their community. They go to I forgot what the name of it was, but they go to like a hierarchy. There's a building, and that's where the boss sits, and they go to them, and they have them handle the business. They do not call police. So I can see how an undercover police operation could operate, but like, what are they doing? Like, what are you talking about? There's undercover police, Chinese police stations in America.
Right. Yeah, it's a good question, because what I was just saying is, you know, our police officers here, they enforce our American laws. America has their own laws.
Right.
CCCP has totally different laws. So these Chinese officers, which laws are they enforcing? You know what I mean? Are they enforcing American law, or are they enforcing CCCP laws? What authority do they have to come here and enforce anybody's laws? I hope they're enforcing American laws. That's a real interesting situation. I'd love
Well,
to
they
dive in.
weren't real cops. I mean, these weren't linked with any regular law enforcement agencies. They weren't allies of law enforcement agencies or any branch of government at all. They're just underground Chinese police.
It's weird, man.
What the
What are
fuck?
they, we gotta look into this. What are they enforcing? What is their purpose? You
I
know,
don't
and
know,
then
man. I mean, I hope they keep Mei Foon around. You know what I'm saying? The
in
movie
China,
I love that shit.
in China, you can't get away with anything. Like I said, you can't even say you don't like your own CCCP. You don't like them. You mention that on their social media, they're coming to pick you up and lock you up. You know, if we have the ability and rights to be able to grievance our government here, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. We have the right to protest, and we have the right. You know what I mean? But you got to remember, we're still dealing with the communist country. You know what I mean? And one thing that I know about communists and a lot of things that I've learned about marketing, you know what I mean, have come from people that were good with propaganda. Like you think about Edgar Bernays, and you think about you know Hitler. He was propaganda. He was his army was bigger than it really was, and you know what I'm saying. And we're going through the same thing with Putin right now. He was these guys go off propaganda, and it's always big shows, and you know what I'm saying. They say they got what they got, but you know look what's happening. They ain't looking too good. You know what I'm saying. They're kind of getting their business. You know what I'm saying. It ain't easy for them right now. And you know they were supposed to be all this and that, and you know what I mean. So I just think that the communist countries are more they're more for show. You know, like were did they create those police stations and then rat on them? You know what I mean. So now people could think, oh shit, they're infiltrating. They're coming here now. Is it all a mind game, man? Are they trying to make us? Is it a chess game? Like, I just don't believe it because I don't see how a Chinese. I just don't see how it could operate, bro. I don't see how it could operate.
I just pulled up an article, and from what this article is claiming, they're claiming Beijing has set up more than 100 so-called overseas police stations across the globe to monitor, harass, and in some cases repatriate Chinese citizens living in exile using bilateral security arrangements struck with countries in Europe and Africa to gain a widespread presence internationally. So they're trying and intentionally making a presence internationally. A new report shared exclusively with CNN alleges. So allegedly, they're here to handle cases just on Chinese citizens living in exile.
Yeah, all right. Just like that weather balloon.
Oh,
Just like that weather balloon, man. But you know what? Let me ask you a question because somebody that was real vocal about China and about having the solution to us coming out from under their thumb, or us not being the nail about to get smacked with the hammer. There was old Trump, man. You know, even though he was built like an Adderall, you know what I mean. That was my guy. He's a funny dude. He's a shrewd businessman. I think he had his ups and downs and his goods and bads like any man. But what's up with him going to jail? What I mean, is there truth to that? Is he getting locked up or what?
I
And
actually
for
think
what
there is some.
crime?
I actually think there is some truth to that.
What
Um,
crime? What'd he do?
I can pull something up real quick, but just right off on top of my head, I believe he took some donation money that was donated to him from who I do not know, but from the details that I know so far to be fact, allegedly, is that yeah, he took some donation money and used it to pay for something that he was not supposed to do. He was not supposed to use donation money to pay or use it on whatever it is he used. But
it ain't like this guy needs to misappropriate funds. He has more money than
right,
anybody in the White House, bro. Like, I mean, come on, man. Trump ain't. I don't believe Trump would
I believe
play
he
with
did
no
something
money,
that
man.
he shouldn't have done. However,
Yeah, maybe he did a little. I don't know.
it's all under the state. It's not even federal charges. They're state charges and they're misdemeanor charges. He's not going to do any jail time. They might end up arresting him. They'll take him in and try charging him for whatever the charge is, but it's going to end up being a fine. And what he'll do, if it's a large fine, Trump is really good with raising money. He'll get that paid off, and then that's going to be that. But I think Trump's going to take advantage of these investigations, and he's going to try to use these investigations to expose any alleged witch hunts against him, which he's done in the past. Since the beginning of time, when he started running campaigns in his first presidential run, he's been attacked from every angle. From then all the way up until now, he's been attacked. Don't you think if they had something on him, he'd be in jail by now? They went at him with full force, with everything they possibly could. They've been trying to charge him with everything under the sun. I'm pretty sure if he actually did anything completely wrong, he'd be in jail already. He wouldn't have even made presidential. He wouldn't have won that presidential seat last time because
Well,
they are doing everything in power to keep him out.
I watched something on I think it was a Fox News. They got their podcast thing, and they had a what do you call it, correspondent weigh in who was he was obviously pro Trump, but he was just saying that all of this has been brought up before. This is nothing new. You know what I'm saying? It's been brought up before. It's been poured over. It's been over documents. There's a guy in New York. What is he? The governor or the DA? Isn't it Bragg or something like that? He said he's the guy after Trump, and he's obviously part of the state branch of government, and he is trying to get Trump charged on a federal level, which he has no jurisdiction in a federal level. So they're saying what happens then is Trump is going to get state charges, if anything, and then New York is now a no bail, no cash bail state. So he said that he believes that most likely Trump will get booked in. But yeah, he said he doesn't think it was going to be any felonies or anything like that. It would be misdemeanors, and it wouldn't be anything that would stop him from campaigning, from going for the presidency again.
No, I believe they know that. These people that are going after him, that was it the DA? What was his name? Biggs. I believe they know that, but they're still gonna try to. They're gonna try to slam him as hard as they could, even though they know it's probably most likely just misdemeanor charges. It's also they're gonna take advantage of it being a publicity situation where they can go out and say, "Oh, Trump was arrested." They can make him look bad, even though he might get arrested, but it's gonna be a misdemeanor, and he's gonna get right through it.
Well, let's check out what old Lindsey Graham had to say.
Trump, I take this all the way to the damn Supreme Court.
That was South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham reacting to a New York prosecutor considering criminal charges against former President Donald Trump. Now, Trump says the investigation will lead to his arrest next week. A few hours ago, Trump put on a post on social media that claims a leak from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office indicates he'll be taken into custody. Right now, a New York grand jury is looking at charges against Trump in a case about hush money. Now, this money was given to women who claim they had sexual encounters with the former president.
Yeah, but he sued Stormy Daniels and she ended up paying him.
Trump's comments about an arrest are speculation. Meanwhile, Senator Lindsey Graham says the investigation is more about politics than it is about the law.
It is.
So I think this is an effort that's ongoing, never ending, to destroy Donald Trump, everything around Donald Trump. This is selective prosecution.
I believe it is.
Law enforcement officials in New York have been making security preparations for the possibility that Trump could be indicted.
Now let me tell you why I think
it makes you wonder. Yeah. Hold on, if I may, real quick, it makes you wonder, bro. you know, if they want Trump out of the way, who are they trying to, you know, have slither in there? What's why not Trump now? You know, the whole world was with Trump. You know, why not now? Who was stopping him? What's going on? Why is there a witch hunt? Who's starting this? Who don't want Trump around?
Who doesn't?
Who's got that smoke for the Trumpinator, bro?
Well, you got to remember, yeah, the president runs the United States, but the president has bosses too, and his bosses have bosses, and them bosses have bosses, and those bosses are the people on top of the 1%. They're running this world, and they pretty much tell the president what to do, not directly, but you know, they put the word down the line, down the grapevine, and they have him do whatever it is they got to do. I do believe that. I mean, there's evidence out there to prove it. I couldn't link it off the top of my head, but they are run by bosses too. I believe that Trump, he's not part of their agenda, and he is not going to follow their agenda. I believe he has somewhat to an extent. I mean, before he got into office the first time, he tried doing some things. He did many things, many good things. He also did many bad things. But for all the things he claimed he was going to do before he got in office, I believe he intentionally was going to do. You know, with against Hillary, with against other politicians, draining the swamp. Once he gets into office, I think they sat him down and they said, look, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And he kind of backed down a little bit, but he was able to do what he can do. But then again, he's been attacked since day one. They've never gave this guy a break. Look how they let Hillary Clinton go when they had that email scandal. That was a proven fact. She deleted all these emails on a private server, which was highly illegal and was a felony, but they let her slide with that. Biden, he got caught with confidential information that he had in his garage when he was when he was vice president. He didn't have authority to clear those documents, to even have those confidential documents. They let him slide on that. Now, when Trump got caught with documents, he had full authority of those documents. He can just think in his head, okay, I'm going to declassify these documents, and they're declassified for him. But they attacked him. They raided his place for him, but they went very light on Biden. They went very light on Hillary, yet they're going after Trump with full force. I mean, to me, that's a little biased. It gives me a couple red flags. Why are they so light on the left but so hard on Trump? It raises a lot of questions. And then, like I said, I think he's not part of their agenda. And that's the biggest threat to them. You know what I mean? It's a very gray area, a very touchy situation, and a lot of people don't want to discuss it because I think it goes back to when he was a character on television. You know, I couldn't stand him when he was on television. I thought he was a piece of shit, and he thought he was better than everybody. But I mean, he's a businessman.
He's a hard boss, bro. When you're in the sales world, dude, there's no room for excuses, and that's where I get it from, bro. It's like, dog, it just doesn't matter. You know, if you come to the desk and your paperwork's wrong, bro, nobody's gonna talk to you like a kid. They're gonna kick it back to you. Go get that out of here, man. Go get your paperwork straight and come back in here. We gotta go. You know what I mean? It's fast paced. It's so, you know, he's got to be high pressure. He's got to show him that high pressure, that boss stuff. You know what it's like to be, you know, really, really pounding it, you know, getting in there, pounding the phones, trying to get you a sale out of nothing, you know, really, really be working it. And he comes off as a jerk because of that. But I mean, really, that's just kind of boss he is, and he has to be. But can you imagine how his employees live? I mean, bro, if you're making money for Trump, you're getting a piece of it. And give me 1.5% of Trump's money, and I'll be good for the rest of my life. The whole family would.
Well, yeah, I mean, I believe what Trump was not accepting any payments for the presidential seat. I mean, if you think about that, I mean, why would you deny any payment to do your job? I mean, he's basically doing the job for free. Some
Yeah,
people see it
because he
as
denied his salary, right? He denied his
some people,
salary.
yeah, right. Some people see it as he's in there to, change certain policies so he can benefit off of it. That might be the case. I don't know, but I know he's a businessman, a really good, successful businessman, which some people do debate against that because for instance, he's filed bankruptcy for some of his businesses, but
That's a that's a smart move. A lot of people make that
it's
move.
not bankruptcy is not a bad thing. It's actually
No,
a
no.
smart thing to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's a strategic business move in a lot of cases.
For instance, there was a huge debate against him to release his taxes, his tax forms, or whatever. If he goes bankrupt, all of his tax forms and it's all going to be revealed. Bankruptcy is never a bad thing. If you're about to go out of business and you file bankruptcy, that might save your business. If you don't file bankruptcy, you're just going to lose your business.
Hmm.
Just because someone filed bankruptcy does not mean they're a bad business person. It's a smart business move to save their business.
Yeah,
Then
you
I
know.
actually forgot where I was going with that, but oh, him being a businessman. I mean, America's in a lot of debt right now. Now, the last 4 years or so, the debt increase has been dramatically increased. I think more than ever before. And I think a businessman put in place knows how to could possibly help that debt from increasing. A big thing with China, China owns America. We're pretty much in debt with China. They own our debt. They own the people. As Trump claims, China's our biggest threat. When he got into office, he started putting tariffs in place with China. He started having them pay some fees, which is a good thing to do. Why should China be able to come here and profit off Americans without paying any fees? We're losing out of money. We're already losing out money by outsourcing our employees, we're outsourcing our companies. Why lose more money? Why allow other countries to come here and make money and profit without paying fees? We should be making money off that, which China's big, man. China's really big. We really got to get in check with China. And with as soon as Biden got into office, it seems like he reversed everything Trump was trying to do with helping with the situation with China. And then now, look where we're at now. Now China's coming in. They're putting these police stations, Chinese police forces in our land. They're buying up our farmland. We need a piece of that too, but I don't believe we're getting much pieces of that at all. I believe that's what Trump was all for. That's what he was trying to do. Making it sure that so China that can't come here and profit off Americans without giving us a piece of it. That's just in layman terms. I mean, it goes way deeper than that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think we're definitely in some wild times right now, man. You got Ye talking about he's going to be running, and I think that just politicians are being a lot more open with how it's all ran. Of course, donations, but it's not illegal to take private donations, right? I mean, people can donate, privately, can't they? Like they don't have to put their name on it, or do they have to put their name on it when they donate it?
I'm not sure. I believe you can donate anonymously, but
Yeah,
I think it
I mean,
depends on where you're donating to and how much it is. I believe once the donation reaches a certain amount, you have to verify some certain information.
he doesn't even need campaign money. He's got the money, man. I don't like I said in a post when I shared the news that Trump said he was going to be going to jail. I said I don't support incarceration for reform. You know what I mean? I just don't. I believe that when cognitively when we're making these decisions, as long as they're not violent, then it's a glitch in your cognitive thinking. Cognitively, you thought that doing something wrong was okay. and that should be worked on instead of throwing you in a prison where you're going to be in there with hardened criminals and you got to learn how to survive. And you know what I mean, being in the maximum security, it ain't there's no fucking reform there, bro. Trust me when I tell you that, dog. You ain't reforming, bro. You're conforming. You know what I'm saying? You're getting down or you're going to get stretched, and that's it. So I just don't believe in prison for reform. I believe it shouldn't be called rehabilitation either, because you're, you know, being rehabilitated. You should be habilitated, integrated. Reintegration is what it should be called. You know what I mean? Get you some skills, get you some, and they do offer a lot of those things in prison. You can take advantage of a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? I did, but I don't think Trump's gonna go to prison. I don't think I don't think this is gonna be anything, man. I don't know. It could be a strategic move just to make sure his people are still with him and jerk them awake and say, "Come on, let's go," because we got a whole another election campaign to go, baby. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Think about that too. Why now? Why is this coming out now? It's the reason why
That's
it's
what I
coming out
always
now.
ask, brother.
He- he-
Right now, yeah.
He's coming out. He's starting his campaign, so it's a perfect time for them to come out with their claim to how they're going to arrest him and charge him with something. I mean, it's an obvious direct attack. Right back to all the other politicians, they went very light on, but from day one they've been attacking Trump with full force. I mean, that should tell you something. They're not going to attack the guy for our sake. They're not going to attack the guy for their sake. I mean, there's something going on there that's not right. There's obviously something going on that's not right. What it is, I don't know.
There's a distraction. Something's going on somewhere else, man, and I think it's gonna come to light in the next few days. You know what I'm saying? But you know what, man? I'm gonna go ahead and call it, bro. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. This has been a dope interview. I think we should probably do this every Sunday, me and you. Just sit here and go through a couple topics and get it popping, man. You know what I mean? So this would be the Sunday show.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to
Yeah.
let everybody know this was kind of a random decision, real quick, a 5-minute decision. We just hopped on here real quick. I wanted to test my end, see if I can jump in here, how easy would it be?
Yeah,
See if there's
we
any
got some good
issues.
dialogue. I'll download the video and I'll get it to you. All right, before I drop it, let me know if you want to edit it or anything like that.
Oh, for sure. I got you.
All right, bro. Peace, man.
Yeah, man.
TCS Rilo. You already know.
Electric
Get at
Crypt.
us. Electric
Make
Crypt.
Orwell
Go
fiction
ahead.
again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're straight from where he's from, too. So make sure you go to the Cookie Show 262.0 on Facebook and follow that. And make sure you hit the same name on YouTube. Subscribe to that. Hit the bell, hit the notifications, like it, send it to the atmosphere. We really need you guys to be engaging. You know what I mean? Like the video. Watch it for 30 seconds. Share it for us. It's just a small thing, but it means a whole lot to us, man. And we got some things lined up for y'all. You know what I mean? You got to look at this. We're looking at breaking this down like this. If we could, the live chat is going to be like the Discord, because we will 100% engage. You're not going to be dealing with moderators. You're going to be dealing with members of the TCS crew. So you can look at that like the Discord. And then also, if you have something that you want to debate, you want to come on, you just let us know. We'll tag you in. Like I said, this is 100% engagement. Think of it as Twitter, Clubhouse, Facebook Spaces, whatever, all that. That's what we're doing. So go ahead, go to those socials, subscribe, and let them know what's going on.
Yes, sir.
Right.
This was an unplanned discussion that we just started as a kind of a test. We kind of just jumped in there, all
I think it was
unscripted.
fire.
We're looking for engagement. We want people to comment. We want to hear what everybody else thinks. Tell us what you think. Let's discuss things. Let's go over some things, man. Let's figure some things out. Let's have a good, cordial discussion.
What do you want to see? And let us know if you want to be on. All right, bro. I'm out of here, man. Love you, cuz. Peace.
Yeah, love you too, cuzzo.
Peace. Bam.